Ladies and gentlemen, the EE Powertalk episode 3, here we are, talking about the boy child man.
Boy child, boy child, boy child. Oh boy child.
Oh boy child.
Oh boy child.
Yeah,
Oh boy
DJ
child.
Shitty.
Man, but anyway, honestly, I tend to think that the boy child, history of boy child, I think we need to find a solution towards it.
Absolutely.
And at the end of the day, but honestly, like I'll say that kuna watu wana heal. There are people who are discovering themselves as men. But at the same time, the problems that we had have not been solved.
True.
Like starting with the biggest and the most eminent issues that we have as hakuna kitu kama boy children kweli.
It's a plural.
I don't find, by the way, honestly, like I have never understood where that name came from.
Boy child.
Boy child. Because it still gives you the ideology that you're still a boy, a baby. People need to pamper you. People need to take. I think it's supposed to be a man.
It's when it comes to societal classification, you must fit into a group. So,
of course.
Ni venye in Kikuyu tunasemanga nita letwa nili ya kukulia mwana. It doesn't really define you. So in respect to the society, everyone must belong to a certain group.
But bro, do you think okay, right now if I came and called you boy child, like okay, direct translation, boy child.
Boy child. Yeah.
I think boy child holds, but anyway, it's since near.
It is an oversimplified version of what boys or men should be.
Starting with the first problem.
Yes.
And I think this one you meona. Substance abuse and addiction.
Absolutely.
Man, this one is a big issue. What do you have to say about it?
Man, you don't have to wait until it's too late to know that you're destroying yourself. There is nothing outside yourself that you're supposed to add to your body to make you function better. If you find out that you're adding something to yourself to function better, my friend, it's a high time you understand that you're no longer in charge of your body.
In charge of your body.
You're no longer in charge of your thinking. It's always fun and games because you're doing it as a group. But consequences are personal. You deal with the consequences as an individual.
Addiction problems are yours alone.
Absolutely. When you call me for dundas, tukikuja tunachapa line kadhaa za cocaine and all that, the high, the vibe, it's me and you.
But most guys have
the consequences,
niwe mwenyewe.
If things go mrama for me, I won't be in loggerheads with your family. I'll be at loggerheads with my family. If I lose a job, you won't be fired. I'm the one who's going to be fired. So it starts to hit when the consequences start to be more personal than the enjoyment.
And I think, but, starting with, I think it's important to mention this.
Yeah.
Which drugs are these that people, what is this substance abuse? Like, ukiangalia, honestly, for me, let me give you my story.
Yeah.
I personally don't like alcohol. I don't even like anything that is illicit in my body.
Yes.
When I was in Campo, 2017 was the last time I ever tasted beer or alcohol.
Yeah.
I don't like alcohol myself.
Yeah.
I also feel kidogo kuna time zingine, I don't know kama unajiuliza hivi, kuna time nyingine unajiulizanga, what is it that you're enjoying from that? Like there's a time I just smelled spirit and I was like, Jesus Christ, this is what you're putting in your body and you enjoy it.
Yes.
But I've come to learn that most people get, especially for us men, we tend to use these drugs and substances to escape our problems.
Yeah.
Probably you have a nagging wife. Instead of solving that problem, you want to escape it.
Yeah.
Probably you have a bad boss. But because you want to escape that problem and not face the reality as it is supposed to be, you would rather sit down and go ahead and start doing some drug and substance abuse. And eventually it leads to addiction. Like honest, hata sahi ukiuliza, if you went to any family, Murima, you will not miss that uncle who has drowned themselves in alcohol. Like in every homestead, you're going to see that. And if you think about it, most of the things that we do, especially when we talk about drug and substance abuse, it is not that it is trying to have fun. We're just trying to escape our problems. The reality, we just want to have that high. Or I just want to feel good. I want to feel like I'm not in this world. And eventually what happens is that you find someone getting addicted. People are losing their jobs. Kiangalia vitu kama miraa and all these things. I'm not against whatever those guys consume. But anyway, kuna vitu zingine that have led to, first of all, You hata ukipiga tu hesabu, I don't think any woman is going to be sane enough to be in a relationship with someone who is an alcoholic.
You know, the problem is, and the reason why we are not tackling these things head on, is the fear of not being politically correct.
Yeah,
and when I
exactly.
say being politically correct, is being in alignment with what everyone else is saying or what the society is saying. Being people who are driven by the populist opinion and not necessarily arguing from a point of truth and from a point of things that have been proven. Addiction is a menace in a society, and it doesn't matter what you're trying to escape, it doesn't matter what you're trying to deal with. At the end of the day, it's gonna be a problem. It is a problem. If you don't deal with it head on, it doesn't matter how many organizations that we're gonna have. Oh, saving boy child. Oh, saving I don't know what against
Boy child NGO.
But most of them are businesses, by the way. There are
Of
people who
course.
ride by that.
There are people who are making money from that.
Yeah. So the true problem that we are supposed to deal with is those things that people say are trying to combat with now drugs and substance abuse. What is it that you're trying to escape? Family matters and all that. You're not dealing with animals. You're dealing with people. Go meet them. You only live once, my friend. If you think you have a lot of time here on earth, you're mistaken. And that time that you have here on earth, it's meant to do something more important rather than for you to be doing things to make your time move faster. Because anytime you find yourself engaging in alcohol, drugs, and substance abuse, these are things that makes your time move faster because you don't want to spend this time that is, you know. We would argue, okay, instead of all this, you know, why don't you now get done with life itself? But again, that's not something we would advise people. Instead of living in misery, you have two options, right? Living a bitter life that you're gonna be blaming everything, or just sitting down and deciding, now this is not working for me. It's not serving to solve the problem that I'm escaping. Now what do I do?
You sit down and ask yourself the questions.
Absolutely.
Very important.
So now when it comes to drug abuse, until we deal with the issue of what is it that is affecting me outside now these things that I'm trying to give the solution with now drugs and all that, we are going to be doing circles around the same thing. And boy child, you need to reinstate your position.
Of course.
You need to know why you are that way. There's a reason why you are a man.
I must say, that's one thing I think people need to discuss and really talk about. But that was one issue. Can you imagine? That was one.
You see, being a man by itself, it's I don't know.
It's a job. It's like when you're born. Like there's a saying that women are born at the top of the hill.
Yeah.
And men are actually born down in the valleys.
Yes.
And they have to spend the rest of their lives trying to climb up the hills.
And let me tell you something that is funny. That saying is not complete because there are so many things that are hidden.
Of course.
Because as you're trying to, women are born at the top of the hill. Men are born at the bottom of the valley. Men try all their life to climb up to the top of the hill, while at the same time trying to protect women not to come down from the top of the.
Exactly.
So you are doing two jobs. You yourself, you're trying to go
Get
up
to the
there,
top,
and you're looking after a person who is there, not to mess up, to come down here, because we have been taught to protect these women, to provide for them. There is nothing wrong about that, and let nobody tell you there is anything wrong with taking care of a woman or
children.
In fact, having a family is the greatest achievement that you can ever have out of this world.
As a man.
As a man, that is the biggest achievement. You know, you can have cars, everything.
But people care about your family.
People care about your family. They'll be like, okay, then what kind of a life did he lead?
I actually realized that it's very hard when someone is reading your eulogy.
Yeah.
And there is no part where there was a spouse.
There's no
part where there was children, especially for men.
Yeah.
Because what is it that you've left the world with? even logically, as men, we are meant to be creators. We create businesses.
Yes.
At the same time, we can bring life to the world.
Absolutely.
So why aren't you, as a man, working towards having a family, bro?
The being a person who is so much into matters of masculinity is not what has been portrayed. Masculinity is not a war against women, and people should understand. Masculinity.
Can you repeat that? Masculinity is not a war against women.
It's not a war against women. Masculinity is a war against men who are not living up to the standard that they are supposed to be living.
Yeah.
Men don't fight with women.
Of course.
There is no space for that. Warriors don't fight people who are supposed to be making them warriors, because in scenarios of war, as soldiers are fighting, women should be at home cooking and making sure that soldiers are being fed and all that. So there is no time to be fighting our women. But there is a huge time to be fighting men who are trying to collaborate with the enemy. And the enemy at this time is now these things we are calling addiction and...
Actually, we're actually moving into the next part. Enemy, pornography addiction.
Man, I can't... Let us first of all start by admitting that it is a menace. The first time I watched pornography, and I'm glad that we are having this conversation, it is introduced as a way of understanding your body.
Feeling yourself, knowing yourself.
Yes, knowing yourself. Then later you start feeling weird things.
Bro, like honestly, let me tell you, you see if you think about pornography, I was reading a post today that was saying that years back, for a man to see a lady in panties or a woman in panties, it would have probably taken you like 5 days. Now you just need to scroll like 1, 2, 3 times on Instagram and you can actually see it. So you can imagine that is access to soft pornography. And now there is the hard pornography.
Absolutely.
That is accessible in websites. And bro, like if you open these websites, it is there. Tons and tons of it. So guys are there accessing this content, thinking, like if you think about most guys, they say that I would rather stay single and wank myself silly to pornography. That is now the topic of masturbation. Pornography itself is a menace in Kenya. I recently saw Ibrahim Traore, Burkina Faso. He banned pornography.
Something that Kenya should do also.
Yes, because like honestly, if you think about the problems that we have in today's generation of men, a guy has been used to watching some bimbos and some flatty individuals online doing kinky things. Like bro, you watch this stuff and you're like, wait, what? Can someone even, how does someone even have like sex with like 7 guys at the same time?
And now that's why we have the wrong interpretation of what women should be doing.
Exactly.
And that is why it has like, because people have now, by the way, 70% of people are addicted to pornography.
Of course.
70%.
You can imagine that's like for every 100 people, 70 people are probably addicted to it.
Yes.
And that is someone who is scrolling every day watching.
Higher. 30% of that 70, they admit properly that I'm addicted. The rest, they are addicted, but they don't admit. Now, when it comes to pornography, first of all, it distorts your thinking. Some study says that it destroys the gray matter in the brain. First of all, it makes you see a woman as an object of use. It makes you feel some type of dominance that does not exist. It gives you a mentality of ask and you shall be given. But in the real world, some things that the sites have portrayed like ask and you shall be given. In the real world, when you come in the real world, you have to work for those things.
True.
Like to woo a woman is a lot of work.
Bro, it's a lot of work. I have one and it took... it takes personal development first of all.
Exactly.
But anyway, there is work that needs to be done.
Then there is a website that is telling you now, you just need to call and they avail themselves. Now, you have that mentality and that approach of what women should be doing. when this woman, when you call this woman and she doesn't avail herself, that is why you see a lot of violence towards this person, because this guy does not understand why isn't this woman coming. And what I've learned about women in this website is that women are objects that you can call and they can avail themselves.
Bruv, do you know, there's a time I have this lady who was telling me she was in a matatu.
Yeah.
So the guy alikuwa amekaa kando na yeye was doing some weird things in his trousers. You get? Like amekaa tu, like unaona huyu jamaa. Kuna unaona venye mati na kuangana 3 seats. So I didn't get the whole story itself, but the guy was wanking himself just looking at the lady. And I remember recently I was watching a video on YouTube. I just wanted to understand how is it that we've gotten to this point as a society. And the video was about desexualization of your brain. It was by a guy called Iman Gatsi. Very good creator, by the way. And he was saying that most guys don't understand reality and something that is not reality.
Yes.
Like some guy probably thinks like the things that you see
are real.
There are things that you can come and do realistically here.
Let me break your small heart, you people. You see, with us here, we have a huge team that you are not seeing.
Yes.
But when you are watching this podcast, you will think it's
two people who created it.
Who are talking.
Yes.
In pornography, it's the same. There is a director, person for makeup and all that. The people that you don't see. So these people are acting. They're going to be paid for it. And they have signed up for life. That's what they're going to be doing. So it's not real. Some things that you're seeing there, if you try to do them with a real person,
you can even be killed, by the way. Because honestly, like, and that's why you're finding dudes. They go to a club, and they probably they've gone to a social setting, and you're very awkward because you don't know how to speak to women. You're so used to fast. Unakuta jamaa, someone is even making like 350 Gs. But this guy, every day akifika kwa nyumba, this guy cannot probably even talk to a chick at his own workplace. But akifika jioni, there is kina Alicia who are actually on a certain site. Ukifungua tu hivi uingie live, uone chenye huyu dem anafanya. Unasikia tu, hadi usingizi inaingia sasa. But the more you continue sexualizing your brain and giving yourself such kind of content, that's why you're finding some guys, they're very stagnant in life. This guy has been so used to wanking himself silly to the content that he sees online. Go out and talk to women. Go and talk to girls. Go and approach them. Listen to them. You know, katia. Like those things, like
the sweetness of kukatia dem, you guy.
Me, like for example, like sometimes I'll assume, you know, I'll say, by the way, I'll not put on the content creator hats. I'll just do this. I'll be social with people. You be social with people and you talk to them. Talk to girls. Like most guys would rather stay in the house and wank themselves silly. On a 75, you can imagine some dude is watching pornography on a 75-inch TV.
That's crazy.
And he's like, oh my God. You get? Like, honestly. And you see, nowadays, it's easy to know someone who probably watches pornography and wanks himself. Because the first thing you're going to realize is kuna kitu inaitangwa brain fog. You wake up in the morning and you're just feeling bored. Unakuta tu mse ako bored. Like every day your body is like, when in the morning when you wake up, you have high levels of energy. So you can imagine that if you spent like close to 3 hours last night watching porn and wanking yourself silly, in the morning utakuwa na brain fog inakaaje. Utakuwa tu umeboeka. And then there is something else that is very rampant that people don't know. It's about your emotions.
Correct.
Brav, when you watch pornography,
you become a stone.
Buda uko tu umejam tu, unaona tu jamaa kona ma feelings, ukimwongelesha tu hivi is like wewe acha. So you can imagine if you're dealing with business and you have clients.
Now that's the reason why I changed my mentality. Now, when you talk about pornography, we need to be realistic and accept that we have watched pornography.
Yes.
At some point, it became excess.
Of course.
And we tamed it. That's why it did not become an addiction. The reason why this conversation of pornography is not being sensitized in the society, because everyone is denying.
Yes.
Once you deny a problem, it becomes a great problem.
Brav, I have I've heard of stories of a pastor.
Yes.
This one was something I was reading online. I'm not very sure about it.
Yes.
It's just allegedly. This pastor, every time he goes, he has a wife, but every time anaendanga kwa sijui sitting room to watch some weird things happening online. So one day his wife found him. So you can imagine your wife has found you looking at weird stuff. And that is the reason as to why you're finding very immoral men.
Yes.
Yeah? Like honestly, women, like if you see a good woman, you look at her and you're like, wow.
God took time with that one.
That one is good.
Yeah.
You don't start looking at her and someone who's been used to watching pornography will probably look at her and start thinking, huyu nikaweza lala naye. But there's some guys going to be like, dem ameweza man. Ooh, then you try and approach.
Yeah.
Kikiumana you just say, ni sawa.
It's a bad day in the market.
Haidhuru. Si ati utanunua maembe zote ukute ziko sawa.
Yeah.
And you see that's the real thing that men, like for me, I normally find it interesting when I hear parents saying that I thank God that he's approaching women.
Yeah.
I thank God he's not wanking himself silly in the house.
Yeah.
You get?
Yeah.
So pornography itself and addiction and masturbation is one of another problem.
Yes.
And me, I always recommend, if you're a man, jioni, you would rather sit down in your house, ukae tu, and don't even touch your smartphone.
Yeah.
Most guys think that if you get a girlfriend, that you're going to solve that problem, your masturbation and pornography. No. If it is inside you, trying to bring something external will not solve your problem.
In fact, you will come then hurt that
Exactly.
woman for no reason.
Buddha, when you and your girlfriend are about to get into the mood, wewe uko tu hapo unasema hebu cheza nao kidogo. Cheza nao kidogo. But because you've really sexualized your brain to like very many kinds of bimbos that you've seen on social media, when it comes for you to actually get into action, bro, you're unable to do that.
Yes.
And for me, I always like think about this. As a man, you need to quit pornography. You need to stop masturbation.
Absolutely.
It's very important. The energy, like if you think about a book called The Semen Retention Miracle. I was reading that book. And I'm telling you, most guys don't understand the reason as to why you were given semen and the reason as to why you were given sperms. Bro, like one day I remember I said, okay, let me just retain my semen. For a period of 6 months.
Yes.
The first thing I realized was mental clarity.
Yes.
Mental clarity, the fact that you sit down and you're so happy with yourself as a human being. Number 2 is emotional stability.
Yes.
Uko tu sawa tu, even if anything happens, you don't want to react like na mahasira. Number 3, and the most important one, is that you start realizing you have this massive load of energy that you can transmute into activities that make sense.
Correct.
Like learning a skill. Like even doing something constructive. You can even start your own podcast. You can even start your own content creation journey. But the more you continue to sexualize your brain with content that is not even trying to help you, at the end of the day, you find yourself ruining your life. And I don't know what you think about this, bro, because I think we can go on and on. Pornography and masturbation, as we just wind up on that topic on pornography and masturbation. What do you have to say about it?
Pornography and masturbation, it's a section of sex that has been made very easy to access for men. The easiest way to destroy a man is to give him access to things that he's supposed to access through a rough
path. Yes.
Then you give it to him for free. The reason why pornography and masturbation has become very difficult for men to come out of is because it's a vice that is providing sex for free. Because once you watch pornography, you go to masturbation, that is a sexual gratification that you have gotten for free, something that you should have worked for. Number 2, when you get addicted or when you sexualize your brain, you become a very useless human being because everything else will revolve around you being sexually satisfied. And that's a weapon that women have realized, that give a man free sex, then he's going to be your slave forever.
It's going to continue simping.
Give a man free sex, he's going to be your slave forever and ever. And don't ask me how I know that. Some things we experienced and de-experienced.
And you learn from them.
After viboko kadha. Because you don't think, because some things that you are supposed to be getting through hard work, you're getting them for free. So now, when it comes to pornography and masturbation, find a way. Have accountability partners. Me, I tell people to have accountability partners. Have someone like Elvis you can call. Hey bro, mazee iko hivi.
Nimenyonga maraka 10 leo na sijui. But anyway, we need to, like I created a WhatsApp group recently.
Or the man cave.
Bro, like me, I expected like probably like 50 guys.
Yes.
To join that WhatsApp group.
Yeah.
And like right now, ilija within 24 hours.
Yes.
That is when I realized, oh my goodness, we've not been having discussions about men. Yeah. At the moment, the WhatsApp group has 255 requests pending of other guys who want to join. So mtu akilivi hivi, immediately kuna mtu ameapproviwa. Yeah. And I'm telling you, if we take it upon ourselves as society to now have conversations pertaining to men and pertaining to the problem that we have as a gender, tunaweza jisaidia sana.
And remove shame.
Yeah.
Remove shame in things that ultimately if we leave them like that, they are going to bring shame.
Of course.
So we have brought shame in a conversation that you shouldn't be bringing shame.
I normally have conversations with guys, and the first thing we say is that you're going to be honest.
Absolutely.
Very honest.
Absolutely.
And one time this guy was standing up and saying, my name is this and this, and I've been a simp for this long. Yeah. I've also been addicted to this and this. I do alcohol, I do this. Acceptance.
Yeah.
We accept that this is a problem. Yeah. In as much as other issues, like the other various issues that are pertaining to men, like something like lack of male role models, gambling.
Yeah.
Those, like, especially male role models. Yeah. We've become so used to the fact that our uncles have gotten jobs in government, and all they do is smoke and drink alcohol.
And have a lot of women. Yeah.
So now we think that is a lifestyle.
That's how to be a man.
That is how to be a man.
Yeah.
And then you find some dude is like thinking, why are you disrespecting me? You don't know me. I recently saw like this thing that was saying that as a man, you don't come in half cooked. You have to be fully cooked. And the funny thing is, you're your own chef.
Yeah.
No one is preparing you.
Yes.
You are your own chef. No one no one is going to come and tell you, as a man, you need to be doing this. You need to control your gambling addiction. You need to control these and these.
And going with the chef analogy, you're cooking for yourself while at the same time cooking for others.
Exactly.
Because being a man calls for you to be a leader.
Bro, like...
and the people must eat.
They must eat. Your wife wants...
Yeah.
Your girlfriend wants a piece of that.
Yeah.
And like, if you think about the whole thing about masculinity, me, I used to be a simp, kitambo, bro. I never told you that. Buddha, like, I was looking at TikTok. I have like probably like 800 DMs.
Yeah.
So nilikuwa nazipitia nikireply.
Yeah.
Then I find some of them. Someone is like, hi Elvis, do you remember me? Tulipatana wapi? Then someone tells me that we met in Kisii Polytechnic. I've never been to Kisii, bro. I've never even... So I was like wondering, where the hell, when did my body decide to travel all the way without telling me? Those are the things like I had to realize later on in life. Yeah. They were not really important in my life.
Yes.
Like right now at this point, I would say that if you concentrate on personal development and self-improvement and have a rough journey, you find better chances of attracting the right people, having the proper ways to actually get money.
Yeah.
Even when you want to probably get a girlfriend, it's going to be easy for you. There's some dudes you find in Nairobi, they're like, unakuta huyu jamaa, he has no issues getting a girlfriend. Getting a girlfriend, and it's not only a girlfriend, a girlfriend. I mean,
girlfriend.
There is getting a girlfriend and there is a girlfriend.
Yeah.
There is that one people will look at and say, enyewe
hapa.
Then there is another one, okay.
Good. You're doing good for yourself.
So on a general basis, I think I would have to say that we have to really sit down as men, rethink our morals, rethink our problems, start accepting and learning from the problems that we have.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and really thinking about how can we solve these problems.
Yeah.
How can we actually divert from all this? And this is the reason as to why we have EE Powertalks, because we are talking about the prominent issues actually affecting society. Yeah. we are young men, so we understand that some of the problems we might have experienced or are experiencing are probably some of the problems some other young man is experiencing. And I think talking about it, sharing insights on the same, and really getting into delving into that whole situation to provide clarity, to provide information, to provide valuable information at the same time, will really open the minds of most of the young men. But over and above, for me, I think, take care of yourself as a man. Put yourself first. Be your own chef. Prepare the proper meals.
Correct.
When it's done, when it's poorly cooked, you are responsible for that. Find the solution. Get the solution. Be part of a network of men. Correct. Like I'm always telling guys, listen, if we can as men, let's create Sundays where we go out somewhere. Instead of drinking alcohol, we bring water. We bring books, we sit down and we start talking.
Exchange ideas and all that.
This is my problem, I'm suffering from obesity, thank you. And we help this person, we tell them that this is what you should be doing. But now when we normalize things that as men, if we have any communal gathering, we need alcohol. That's one of the weirdest things.
There's something you mentioned about role models.
Yes.
Why can't this thing end with us? I always ask this question: why can't we be the turning point? Because there's no way I'm gonna pass it on to my son.
Of course.
There's no way I'm gonna be an absent father to my son just because my father was absent. There is no way I'm gonna be a person who is not available for my family just because my father was not available for our family. Just a hypothetical example. There is no way you can be blaming your father. Then when you raise a son, you teach him how to blame the grandfather.
He's the one who had the problems.
The reason why we have a problem is because our grandfather messed up. That's why our father messed up, and that's why I'm messing up. And when I have a child, he will mess up because our grandfather messed up.
Cut the lineage, cut the nonsense, cut the crap.
It. Let it end with you. I say this is I will be the last person in my lineage to experience the nonsense that I've experienced.
Of course. In fact, there's someone was saying that the mistakes that you learn from your parents should teach you how not to be a parent or how to be a parent.
So really, even as we dive into something like addiction of betting and all those things, your role model really should be what you want to become.
Exactly.
Not who.
The vision of you in the future.
What you sit down and you are the only one who can interpret that dream. That is your role model. Now, the future me requires the current me to do A, B, C, D. Am I doing that?
Exactly.
You don't need Daddy Blessing or Elvis to come and tell you A, B, C, D. You just need to sit down and ask yourself now, what does the future me require of me?
My responsibility towards that future person.
Exactly.
And I think we really need to have those intricate discussions. And anyway, as we move on with the discussions, thank you so much for being part of today's session and our podcast. This is EE Powertalks. I've been your host, Elvis.
And I'm Eli, or Daddy Blessing.
Thank you.
See you in the next one.
Thank you so much. See you in the next one. Take care of yourself.